الآن يمكنكم المشاركة في مبادرة الأيام الرقمية تحت شعار انطلق بقوة مع جوجل، والتي يتناول فيها خبراء جوجل عناوين جديدة أسبوعيا مثل السحابيات، مهارات من جوجل، أندرويد، فلتر، ذكاء الآلة، فايربيس، ديزاين ثينكينج، مقسمة إلى دورات وورشات عمل يومية بالإضافة إلى مسابقات أسبوعية. شاهد الأيام الرقمية مباشرة على اليوتيوب وشارك رأيك وأسئلتك مع خبراء جوجل، واحصل على شهادة حضور في كل محاضرة تشترك فيها. هذا وأكثر من الأحد إلى الخميس ابتداء من الساعة 9 بتوقيت دبي عبر الرابط المبين youtube.com/gdgmena.
So hello everyone, hope you're doing well and you're in good health. So Ramadan Kareem everyone, and today we are going to learn Rxgs Subjects by example. So a little bit about myself before we start. My name is Lamis. I'm a GD for Angular. I'm a senior software engineer based in Tunisia. I've been into Angular for the past few years. I'm already the founder of Angular Tunisia, and aside I'm a speaker, mentor, and a content creator. So last sessions, we started this Rxgs series like 2 months or 3 months ago with the MENA group, and the first session was about Rxgs, how to think reactively, like the basics, and then we learned the Rxgs operators, and now it's the third session, and it's for beginners, it's beginner friendly, and it's about subjects. And I want just to sum up what we went through last sessions, because it's important to just like some quick stops. In general, we learned the observer design pattern, and the observable, which is the spine of the reactive programming. And we said that there are many types in Rxgs, many types of observables, and there are many operators that you can manipulate to manipulate the observables. And and the thing that I want also to sum up or to shed some light here on the cold and hot observables we saw last time, because we will need this concept today. So I want just to remind you the difference between cold and hot observables. So with cold observables, the data is produced by the observable itself. With hot, the data is produced outside the observable. So outside the observable, you can still produce data. Okay. So with the cold one, you can begin to emit value after the subscription. With the hot, you may begin emitting items as soon as it's created. And for the last criteria is that in the cold, each observer or subscriber gets its own unique set of items. For the hot, the emitted items are shared between the subscribers. And this is what we call multicasting, and we will understand later on today what multicasting is all about. So there are like some keywords in reactive programming in Rxgs that you will keep listening to and reading in the articles, and you should, like, when you begin with, you should understand the concept, and I will demystify it for you as always. So let's begin with the subject and what is a subject, okay, which is the heart of our session today. What is a subject? So the subject is, to make it simple, it's an observable and observer at the same time, okay? So it extends the subject concretely in the implementation of Rxgs. You will find that the subject extends the observables, okay? And it implements the observer interface or the subscription, to be more accurate in terms of code. So it's observable and observer at the same time. So as it's an observable, so you can subscribe to in order to get values, to get emitted values. Okay, it will emit those values for you from any source of data. And it's an observer at the same time, because you can always send data to the listening to the already listening observers. Okay, and to make it clear, like the observer is, when we say that it implements the observer interface, so you can call the next error and complete methods. Okay, so here you can see that this is like the observer callbacks. The first one, next, which we will use in order to send values to the observers listening, and error in order to throw an error, complete. It's a register comeback that we can use in order to log something in the completion of the observer of the observable. Sorry. So yeah, so this is the observer like methods, and we said that the subjects are observable and observer at the same time, and this is the definition available in the Rxgs official website. So the subject is like an observable. Okay, it's a special type of an observable, but can multicast to many observers. Okay, and the second sentence is like more simple to understand, which is subjects are like event emitters. They maintain a registry of many listeners. So subjects have always a list of the listeners. Okay, and the listeners are the subscribers, and we can say the observers. Okay, it's the same thing. So the observers are the interested parts in the data emitted by the subject. Okay, so like any other subscriber. Yeah, so it maintains this list. Okay, unlike the observable, it will maintain this list, and it will always like notify new values to all of those observers at the same time. And the subject also can at the same time send data to the observers, and like, yeah, by the next method. Okay, so to make it simple, there are two cases. Okay, new values are sent to all the subscribers still listening and maintained in the subject itself. And you can also send values using the next method. Okay, and I will show you by example just right after the slides, and you will understand like more by example. So yeah, so but keep in mind that yeah, the subject maintains a list of subscribers. Now the second word we should stop at is multicast. Okay, we need to understand that can multicast to many observers. And what do we mean by multicast? Multicast is the opposite of unitcast. And unitcast observables are like observable, which emitted values are not shared amongst subscribers. Okay, what does this mean? It means that each subscriber, or each subscribed observer, to be more accurate, owns an independent execution of the observable. Okay, so if you have many subscribers, each subscriber will get an independent execution. Okay, it's another reference, it's another execution. Yeah, it's not like the same one shared between them at all. Multicast is the opposite. Okay, multicast observables, when you say multicast observables are observables which emitted values are shared among subscribers. Okay, you have more than one subscriber, all the values are shared among the all the subscribers. It's not like an independent execution, it's the same execution, and that's what makes it multicasted. Okay, so now this is not my slide, sorry. So let's move directly now to the code, and I will show you on Stack Blitz. Yeah. This is Rxgs, and I will try to zoom in. Hope it's clear. If it's not, just the organizer can ping me in order to zoom in. So here we are going to live code and to do some example and to see the execution at runtime, and you will understand better what subjects are about. And we will also go through the different types of subject. Let's say the most used subjects, which are whether plain subject, behavior subject, and replay subject. Okay, so let's start. So here I have already an example of this is an observable, okay, which is created by the of operator. And we do here some manipulation in order to return every time hello and the value emitted. And this is the subscription to it, and we just do console.log. Okay, and here we have the result, hello world. Now I will just register another subscriber, sorry, and here I will have the same thing. I will just log the same thing. It's subscribe here. And as you can see here, you have, okay, well, every time create the console to avoid like confusion. So here you have hello world, hello world. Here we have two subscribers to this source of data, okay? And every subscriber maintains its like separate execution. Every time one value. So here, what we call observables or Unitcast observables. Now, we will try now to use the subject, okay, and to see the difference between them. So here, I will just use my first subject, and I will create it by new subject simply. And the subject here is imported from Rxgs. You see, so I am imported subject from Rxgs package, and I have now my subject. And I always use dollar to say that it's an observable. It's a convention, okay, formal or informal convention to make the code more readable, cleaner, etc. So yeah, it's a best practice in order to use it. Now, let's do this. Let's subscribe to it, and I will here log for every emitted value. Okay, I will register now a callback for every emitted value X. I will log this value, but before I log it, I will put here in order to like make a difference between my messages, I will put subject. Okay, first subject subscriber and X. I will log every time the value. Well, and I will comment this out. I am not interested in the observable part anymore. Let's focus on the subjects. I will zoom in a little bit more. Well, so as you can see, nothing is logged here. And why nothing is logged? Because nothing is emitted yet. We don't have a value for this subject. There is no value yet, and we didn't send or publish a value. And how we can publish a value, as I said, subject is an observer, at the same time observable. So as it is an observer, so we can use the next method, error and complete. And to publish a value, you use the next method. So let's publish a value. So we will here just do next. Okay, and I will put test. And I will refresh, And you can see here first subject and the emitted value, which is test. So you can see here that the test is emitted successfully to the subject. Now I will just create another subscriber, and I will call it subject to subject. No, I will keep the subject $subscribe, and here I will say second subject or second subject subscriber. And you can see here what's happening now. First subject subscription test, second subject subscription test, which means that here we publish the value test, but both subscribers are notified here, and they share the same execution. It's the same execution because it's multicast. So this is how we publish values for the subscribers. And for the subject, we can like share many share data between subscribers with this part and with this method. Okay, so here you have this is how we publish. Now I will do another thing, and which is I will just move this before the subscription. Okay, and let's see what will happen now. I will just delete and re-execute. Okay, nothing happened. Nothing is logged in the console. Why this happened? This is the second important information you should know, is that the subject will emit value for the subscriber after the subscription. Okay, so imagine you have a timeline. Here I created the subject. At that moment, there is an order. Okay, so here is the first thing I did, which is creating the subject. Fine, it's okay. Now, the second thing I did is sending or publishing data to all the subscribers. But there are no subscribers left. The subscribers arrived at line 14. So they arrived after we published the value. And when this happened, the values are lost because I didn't subscribe yet. Okay, so what happened before my subscription, what happened before this part is like erased. Okay, it doesn't exist anymore. So we will start receiving values after the subscription. Okay, so if we publish, that's why when we publish after the subscribe, we get errors. We get data. So here, let's say that we will move the next in this part. Okay, so what will happen here? Only one subscriber will get the data. Okay, so every time I am clearing the console and refreshing the execution in order to like make the console clear and you can understand better. So here, what's happening here? I have the first subscriber, okay, which is the lucky one. And here I have the next method I published. So the moment I published a value, there is subscribers listening. There is only one, which is the first one. So the value will be emitted. The first subscriber will intercept this and log first subject subscription test. Now, the second subscriber arrived, okay? And there is no published value after that. So nothing will happen. Okay, and this is the important part that you should keep in mind about subjects. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's all I have to tell you about the subjects. Now let's move to the other type of subject, which is the replay subject. And starting from that point, the last thing I said is that you will only get values when you subscribe. So if there is published value after your subscription, it's okay. If there are old values, you will not get notified because you didn't subscribe earlier. Now, if I need this, if I want to get all the lost messages, I don't care if I arrived late. I want to get notified anyway. So in many processes, you may need this. Okay, the subscriber, when I subscribe, you don't care when. It's not important when, but I want to get all the values I lost. Okay, I want to get notified. If you want this case, then the replay subject is the adequate type for this part, and I will show you how the replay subject works. So let's see here. I will just put here new replay subject. So let's create a new instance, and I will comment in all this part. So here I have the replay subject $, and I will just call replay subject. Okay, and I will keep the same logic here. I will replay subject, subscribe, and for every value coming, I will just log this value. Simply console.log x. Okay, or you can simply use console.log if you don't have any treatment. Okay, you can do this also, it works. Okay, so I will simply log the value. So here we have nothing yet. It's normal because we didn't publish a value. So how we publish a value? Like the regular subject, we call next, and I will now publish a value. So I will publish a value before my subscription, like we did for the other one, for the subject, and we did not get anything. So here the replay subject $, I have here So as you can see here, there is one logged, which is the value published before my subscription. And this is what I want to do. Okay, if we use subject here, I really insist in order to make you able to follow. So if here new subject, okay, if it's subject instead, you will get nothing because subject does not care. Before the subscription, no values can be emitted. The values emitted in the past, and the past is all this time frame before the subscription, is not logged or not like emitted for the subscribers. Okay, so I will so here I have the replay subject. Now for the replay subject, it's not the case. It's called replay because it replays the values in the past. Even if you subscribe late, you will always get notified. Okay, so now I will just put another value, which is 2, and what we see here, 1, 2. Okay, I have all the values here. I put 3, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the same thing. Okay, so here, so and so on. So you have all like the past values, and for always like future values, which will get published after the subscription, you will get notified also. I will just put here 5, 6, which are published after the subscription, and you will get those values emitted, of course, among all the subscribers. Okay, so as you can see here, it's like all the values are there, and if I create more than one subscriber, okay, you will get the same execution among all the subscriber. Okay, this is what we call multicast. So here 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, the last values, and then last values for everyone, and then I think it's like it's clear. So here at the moment of the subscription, the replay subject will notify the subscriber with the old values. You will say there are many things that happened before you came, my friend. So those are the values for you. I will send them, and they will be sent. And then for the first, second subscriber, same thing. Third subscriber, same thing. And after that, there are published values. All the subscribers will get notified. Okay, I have here 3 subscribers, so you will get 3 notification, 3 emitted values. The second time, same thing. I emitted a new value. I have 3 notifications, 3 emissions for the subscribers. And this is how it works. Even with the subject, it's the same thing. But the difference between plain subject and replay subject is that replay subject replays all the past values, the values published before the subscription, while the plain subject does not do that. The plain subject is like no more values, no published values, or no emitted values before your subscription. Now, so all the values will get emitted for you. Now, the replay subject have, as you can see here, a buffer size, window time, scheduler, schedule like. So all those are parameters for the replay subject. And what are these parameters for? So I can say here, as I said, by default, all the previous values will be emitted for you when you subscribe. Okay, all of them, as you can see here, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 emitted for everyone. Now, if I want only the last values, I am not interested in all the previous values. I am only interested in the last one. What I should do, I should just put here 1, which is my buffer. I just want 1 value, and that's it. So here, as you can see, the last value is 4. So for the first subscriber, 4 will get emitted. The second one, same thing. Third one, same thing. And then 5 get emitted for everyone. 6 get emitted for everyone. If I want like the 2 last values, I will get here 3 and 4 logically. So I will get 3 4 for everyone. 3 values, it will be 4 3 2, and so on. Here, 2 3 4 2 3 4 2 3 4, and then the regular emitted values. So this is like an interesting feature that you can use, and in order to control the number of the emitted values for you, or the buffered values for you, and this can enhance your performance. It depends on your use case, but yeah, in general, it's made for that. Now, there is also another parameter, which is the window time, and you can put a window time, and all the values emitted in this or published in this window time will get emitted for you. Yeah, so it's also interesting in order to control whether with the buffer size or the window time. And yeah, so this part, and there are also scheduler and scheduler like, but they are less used. So those are like the most common use cases of the replace subject. Now let's move to the third type, which is behavior subject. And for this, I will just use, so I'll tell you behavior subject dollar, and I will call new behavior subject and compilation error. So I have an error here. Let's put this. And this error is because the behavior, oh, sorry, I need to import for, yeah. So we will import from the Rxgs package. And here, why there is a compilation error? Because the behavior subject accepts a parameter which is mandatory by default, which is the default value. Okay, so I can put a default value. I can put, for example, test. You can put like something empty, it works, or you can put a default value. You can even, it's typed, okay? So you can control the type and add here your type, string, okay? Numbers, if you have numbers. Anyway, so you can control here your type and use a default value. So I will control the type later to show you how this is typed, and it can like warn you from the coding, from like before the runtime, I want to say, about like the different typing errors. And here, as you can see, so here is the behavior subject dollar, and I created the behavior subject and it accepts a default value. So this is the first difference with the others, okay? So the default, the behavior subject accepts a default value, and this value which will get emitted for subscribers from the beginning. Okay, so here I will put, I will try to use the same pattern as the others, and I will subscribe and just do console.log. And you will see here test. I didn't use next here, not like the other examples. So I didn't use next. I didn't publish a value at all explicitly. So, and all I did is creating the behavior subject, putting a default value, and I subscribed. And the behavior subject will systematically emit the first default value for you. Now, let's say that we will do next, and I will just send hello. Same thing here. So you will see the first emitted value, test, and hello. All the values after subscription. Obvious, it still works. This is something common for all the subject. Subject, replace subject, behavior subject, always the same behavior. The values, if you want to publish value for all the subscribers, then just do next. And as always, I will just put more than one subscriber. Okay, we'll just put 3. And you will see here that this value next and test will get emitted for all the subscribers. So this is the first subscriber coming, and okay, the subject will say, yeah, there's a default value emitted before you, which is test. The second one, same thing. Hey, there is a default value, test. Third one, same thing, test. Now, for the next, which will publish in this channel, imagine it as a channel shared between all those subscribers. So I will just send hello, and all the subscribers will get notified about this, this new value emitted. And here you will have 3 hello. Now, what we will do is sending values, publishing value before subscription. And I will do this. Next. I will put here your code. Okay, so let's clear this. And what happened now? There's no test, there's no more test, guys. It's only your 3 times and then code 3 times. So your code, what happened now for the behavior subject? The behavior subject always send the last emitted value in the past. Now imagine that there's a timeline. The first emitted value is here. I have here in the line 19 the creation of the behavior subject. I have a default value, which is test. And this default value is like will be emitted for the future subscribers. Okay. Now I have in the line 21 another emitted value, which is not the default value, but published explicitly by the subject itself using the next method, which is your. So now I have 2 values emitted. The subscriber arrived at line 23. At that time, there are 2 values in the past. The behavior subject is not like the replay subject. The replay subject would send all those values for you, which is test and your. The behavior subject only sends the last value for you. And the last value here is your. So it will be sent to the first subscriber, the second one, and the third one. Imagine now I will just put your code here. So here I will put the code, and here I will just delete this part. And so as you can see here, there's no more your anymore. It's scoped because it's the last value. So this is how it works. It only emits for you the last value. And the behavior subject is very important if you're working, for example, in an Angular application. You have many components and you have shared data between your components. Okay, and if you heard about the state management and all this stuff, NGRX, for example, which is the recommended library for the Angular ecosystem, and it manages the state of your application. It internally manages the state using the behavior subject. And how does this work? If you have some kind of data that you want to share between your components, okay, and you want your components to get notified with the last version of this data every time when there is a new value, okay, you want this value to get displayed. Okay, for example, I don't know, maybe you have a rating. Okay, you have an application and you have some ratings, and you always want to display the last rating for your users. Okay, and you want to display it in many components. Okay, then all that you have to do is storing this data inside the behavior subject, providing a default value from the beginning. If there's no default value, no worries, you can just initialize it with empty string. Okay, you can, if you don't want to get okay, so here's an empty string. We have to use the simple codes instead. Yeah, and this is how it works. So I have the default rule for the double quotes, no problem. So here's how it works. Okay, you have the default value which is empty, and you can go for it. And then if you are not interested in empty values, you can register some filters, which are the operator filters. For example, the filter operator in Rxgs, and filter the values that are not empty. This is no problem. Okay, so you can store this kind of data. We said the rating, for example, inside your behavior subject, and then subscribe to this behavior subject inside every component and display the rating. Okay, now when the rating changes and you get notified about changing the rating, even you did an HTTP call or you have a WebSocket or push notification or wherever event or is triggered to update the rating, you just use the next method in this subject. You stored in it the data or the rating itself, and you just use the next and publish the new value. So all the subscribers which are present in your components will get notified instantly. And it's very important in terms of like user experience, because you will see like all the updates instantly. You will see your view updating instantly, other components, Angular components updating instantly. You can do the treatment you want based on the last value. So you have a recent treatment. If you have like a calculation to do or something, and you want always to retrieve the last value, because the last value is the more up to date. So you can use the behavior subject and you always notified about the most recent value and the most updated value. Okay, so this is a very, very useful use case to manage, to share data between your components without having to manage the state of the whole application. You can just like use a state, a common state between your components using the behavior subject, and you're done. Okay, and I always like recommend this in order to if you have like if you want to manage the state of your application, not the state, let's say, but you have a shared data between 2 or 3 components, it's highly advisable to store it in the behavior subject and then like share it, publish the most recent value through the next method, and subscribe to it in your components, in the components you want to display the value in, and you're done. Okay, so it's like a recommended pattern in Rxgs in order to deal with like sharing data between components. Okay, otherwise you can do you can go for state management and use state management libraries. Yeah, so so that's it. So this is the behavior subject, and to sum up, those are the 3 like most used types of subject in Rxgs. We have the plain subject, behavior subject, replay subject. The difference between them is that behavior subject accepts a default value, accepts a type, it's highly typed, okay, and it returns only the last emitted value before the subscription, and that's it. The replace subject replaced all the past values for you, and you can control the buffer size. The subject does not care, does not replay nor emit past values before subscription. It will start publishing and emitting after the subscription, and it does not accept default value nor typing things. Okay, and here we can like use here the typing in the behavior subject. I will put here number in purpose, and you can see here that you have compilation errors, and this will help you a lot in coding. And I highly recommend also to use typing in your observables. It's like yeah, it will help you a lot. Okay, you can even with TypeScript you can mention the supported types. You can even separate the supported types with this pipe. Okay, this is the power of TypeScript, and yeah, the types, the typing thing. So it's highly like advisable to type your code in order to avoid like confusion and errors related to the typing issue. So as you can see here, I have compilations error everywhere because I am just sending string data while I am only accepting numbers. So here I can solve it just, and that's it. So it's a basic example just to show you the difference between them. Well, those are the kind of subjects I want to show you, okay, the subjects uh, like by example, okay? And I think here it makes sense, all what I said. So if I come back here to the definitions, you can see here that subjects are hot observables, okay, because they can emit after the subscription and even before, okay. Because they can emit items and share them between the subscribers and as soon as they are created. So not like after, only after, okay? As you can see, as you saw, the replay subject and the behavior subject, and it's multicast also, okay? And the data can be produced outside the observable itself. They are observable and observer at the same time. As you can see, you can use the publish next method in order to notify all the subscribers, as you see here. So we are using here those methods because it implements the observer, and all this code, all this like emitted values are shared among all the subscribers and will get published for all the subscribers. Okay, so this is how it works. And we can subscribe to it because it's an observable, and you can listen to the most recent value of data. So here it makes sense also, and can multicast to many observable observers, and this is what we are doing by calling the next. Again, we call the next, and it's sent to all the subscribers or the observers, and the subjects maintain a registry of all the subscribers that's internally managed inside the subject itself to know every time there is a new value, okay, I have many subscribers to notify, and they are multicast, they are not unicast, and this is the difference. So I think this makes sense, and I want to explain it and explain the three types, which are the most used: subject, replay subject, and behavior subject. But there are not only the available subjects in the Rxgs library. Okay, there are two more, which is the async subject. It's not very used as far as I am concerned. I believe I didn't use it before. And also the WebSocket subject, I used it, and it's amazing because it helped me a lot consuming WebSockets and dealing with it, and putting all this real-time logic in my Angular application. And I have many talks on YouTube about it if you are interested in learning it, the WebSocket subject. And I have even a detailed article, so you can check out my GitHub repository, or you can just search on YouTube about real-time using Rxgs, and you can find many talks about this detailed on the on YouTube, or it's free. Okay, you can use it, and you can find all the resources you want. That's it. Okay, that's all I have to tell you today. Thank you very much for having me, and hope this was useful for beginners. And I want you like to play around subjects and to start doing some real life examples, and those are the basics anyway, and you can then use it in order to implement amazing like features in your apps. Thank you, and stay safe wherever you are. If you have any questions, I have 10 minutes for questions. Mariam, or I don't know who's here, can put the questions in the private chat and I can answer. If you have any questions, like just you can ping me on Twitter. I always answer. My DM is open. So we have a question. What is the benefit of observer? What observer can do? Observer is the concept of the design pattern observer. There are like two concepts, the observable and the observer. The observable emit values. The observer is the one listening and subscribing. Okay, so you can benefit for, so you can like benefit from instantly notify all those listeners or the object interested in this kind of value in one shot. Okay, and even like, yeah, this is the spine of the reactive programming thing. Okay, there are always observable and observers, and you can use them in order to get notified about the most recent emitted value. You have to separate. Okay, you have to separate both concepts. The concept, this design pattern, the observer was used in the early ages of the programming, even with object-oriented programming, and it's always the same thing. Even in the object-oriented programming, you can like win all this part from notification by just centralizing it inside one concept, which is the observer, and then managing all the emission in another concept, which is the observable. Okay, the object that maintains the whole like source of emitted data. Okay, I don't know if this makes sense for you, but yeah, this is what observers are made for. What is Rxgs into Arabic? Rxgs is a library. It's an extension for reactive programming in JavaScript. All this event-based thing, the asynchronous part. You can check out my first talk with MENA series, and you can find that I explain it, I detailed it so much, so you can understand it. Yeah, and I just put many examples, real life example, the example of the mailing list and the subscription in the mailing box, and how you get notified and all this stuff. So you can just check it out in order to understand what is into Arabic. I really don't want to say translations that are not accurate. I have to check the accurate translation and then come back to you. I can't say it now because I'm not sure I can. البرمجيات, I don't know. I don't know how to translate it in Arabic. I don't want to say like silly things, but I can check it and then come back to you if you want on Twitter. But if you want, in general, if you understand English and you want to to understand the concept, what is Rxgs, what it's made for, it's based on what exactly, then check out my first session, and you will understand what it's all about. If you have any questions, don't hesitate in order to. And of course, you can like check out the official documentation of Rxgs in order to like learn more. There is also an interesting platform which is learnrxgs.io. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. I am in the show again. So here I have to share again my screen. So here is the official documentation. You can play around it like right now, thanks to the amazing Stackblades tool. You can just choose the Rxgs project and go and play with it instantly in the browser without having to install anything like in the cloud. And here is the official documentation of Rxgs. Look no further, there's plenty of information right here. And also learnrxgs.io. Yeah, it's a very good resource for beginners and also for like Rxgs developers and users. I love it. You can see here the different types of subject. I told you about subject, replay subject, behavior subject, async subject. I told you that I don't use it like I didn't use it. It's not very used, but in general, it emits its last value on completion. You can check it out if you want. And yeah, so and ArcGIS 7 is around the corner for those who don't know. Yeah, so we'll get it was announced in NGConf yesterday, and it will like be in production I think by the end of this month, so you can check it out also. Well, if you don't have more questions, let me check out. Yeah, we still have. So, Lamis, what's the main purpose of Rxgs? Okay, so Rxgs is intended to handle asynchronous events in JavaScript and reactive programming in general. And reactive programming is very useful because for you it enhances the user experience. It makes your code more clean, more readable. There are many manipulations that you can do that are like not possible in other paradigms. And yeah, so for event-based programming, there are like many Rx extensions in the world. Rx JavaScript is the extension of Rx in JavaScript. So yeah, it's reactive programming. It's like the official library for reactive programming and asynchronous data streams in the front end in the JavaScript layer. And it's made for this, like to handle the asynchronous data streams in the JavaScript world. Okay, and then it like it's very used in all the nowadays. It's very used in plenty of applications. It's like an official dependency of many frameworks. Also, for example, for Angular, the Rxgs dependency is there. There are people working also with React, and they are using Rxgs. It's where there is event-based asynchronous streams yeah, all this stuff. So Rxgs is the answer in order to manage all this stuff, and it makes you able to like consume this asynchronous data streams and to manipulate them, which is so important. Okay, so yeah. For example, for even in the browser internally, okay, if you want to like intercept the click events on a bottom or something, okay, so you can, it's an asynchronous data stream. You don't know when this event happened, but you want to perform something when this event happens. This is how you should think of it. Yeah, so here is the heart of Rxgs, and how it can help in those kind of situations, asynchronous streams in general. And I gave you the example of the events. So I think we have no more questions, and it's time to wrap up. Thank you very much again, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to just ping me in order to answer it. Thank you very much.